We're guys in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, about 30 minutes outside of the city.
Where?
It's Beaver County.
Beaver, yeah.
Yeah. All right, Tyler, you ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Welcome to another episode of Around the 412. We are part of the Pod Hub Network. I'm Tyler, and with me as always is Smitty. And today we are joined by former NHL defenseman Darius Kasparaitis. Darius, how's it going?
I'm doing good. It's no rule that zooming and driving, so I'm doing
Yeah, we won't tell anybody if you don't.
It's not illegal yet in Florida, so I think I'm good.
All right, well, let's jump right into it. I wanted to start before your time with the Penguins. You were actually drafted 5th overall by the Islanders, and you ended up playing the Penguins in the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. So what was that like, playing the team that just won back-to-back Stanley Cups? And was your role on the team to kind of disrupt guys like Lemieux and Yager?
Not really. I think that was my first year in the league. I didn't really think about, I was just playing my style of hockey, and unfortunately Mario and Yax were part of my abuse system at that time. But, I remember playing Pittsburgh in regular season. I think they beat us like 8-1, and it was so scary to play against them because I knew they were the two-time Stanley Cup champions, and they're a huge star power team. And I know we just tried to win one game, and lucky for us, we won the game 7, and we move on to the next round.
Yeah, it was a big heartbreaker for everybody around
Yeah.
here. But yeah, so then eventually you get traded to the Penguins. So what was your reaction like when you found out you were traded?
First of all, I knew that they hated me in Pittsburgh so much. So I remember when Mike Milbury called me and told me he traded me to Pittsburgh, I said, "You're joking." And he said, "Yes." And I was like, "Oh, I can't go there. People hate me there." So basically I was so nervous going to Pittsburgh because I thought, people going to, tell me that how much they dislike me. But, the moment I start playing for the Penguins, I think fans fall in love with me. And I had an amazing 6 years there, playing with great players like Yax, Lemieux, Ron Francis, Tom Barrasso. It was a great experience for me living in Pittsburgh, having my first child there, and just being part of the Pittsburgh community.
Right. Like,
Yeah.
So the guys you just mentioned, like those superstar players, what separates those guys from like the average player that there's just like something different about them?
Well, I think they talent. First of all, they have talent scoring goals. Making big saves, and I guess they have something different. I feel like when I play against Beer League here in Florida, and I feel so I feel so much better than other players, and I see the game differently. I think that's how Mario, Wayne Gretzky, Yax sees the game when he plays with us.
Yeah.
He gets frustrated probably and things like that because they see game differently a little bit. I think they're just a different talent. Every athlete is talented, but some guys they go to different level. That's why they're so special.
Right.
Yeah, you mentioned that the Penguin fans, they liked your play style. They fell in love with you pretty quickly. And I know there's one hit that I was asked to talk to you about in particular, and you might know which one I'm talking about. It's a hit on Eric Lindros. So what was your reaction to that one?
Oh, I knew that Penguin and Flyers fans hate each other. Yeah, and I knew that every game we play against Flyers, it was a big game. And Eric was a big star in the league that time, and they hated him here in Pittsburgh also, So not really. I just finished my check. He got hurt. I just stepped up and hit him, and unfortunately he got hurt, and then he missed a couple months of hockey, and that was the unfortunate thing. I'm not happy for that part, but I knew that. I remember how crazy the Civic Arena went when I hit him. And I knew that we have back-to-back games, and the next day we played Philly. It was a war, So it's something I'm not proud, but it's something that fans are have in their memories. Who watch the game and who remember the game.
Yeah. Did you get a lot of backlash about that hit?
Not really. I think everybody talks positive things. Even Eric, when I got signed with the Rangers, Eric called me before I signed with the Rangers. I remember Eric Lindros called me because he was playing for the Rangers. He called me and he asked me, if I want to play. He said, "Can play for the Rangers," And he told me right away. He said, "Listen, I have nothing against the hit. This is hockey. I kept my head down. I'm stupid, and you just finish the check." And unfortunately, I woke up in Pittsburgh in the hospital, and he told me the first question he asked. They told me he was in Pittsburgh, and he goes, "How did I get here?" He didn't.
Wow.
That's how scary it was, because I don't think it really realized that he had a game. He got injured in the game. That's how scary. It's not funny. That's how scary concussions are.
Yeah.
People sometimes have to realize, guys who get hurt with concussions, it's pretty scary.
Yeah,
Right.
and watching that hit, it's a clean hit. You led with your shoulder. You didn't hit him in the head. But that just goes to show that today, a lot of the guys, they get hits to the head, and it shows how scary those hits can be.
I think the problem is, I think he didn't expect to get hit. And the most concussions or most injuries happens when you don't expect. If you, when you, for example, if you walk on the street, you run and you don't see the sign, and you hit your head with a sign, you're gonna get like black, a little blackout. If you run fast, you get hit. You're probably gonna have a concussion. So I think it's a thing. If you don't expect to get hit and you get hit, that's how you get concussion, because you're not prepared, to defend yourself.
Right. So obviously, this was going to be brought up, but the question's got to be asked. What does it feel like to score a Game 7 winning goal?
Oh, it felt great. It's an unbelievable feeling. You feel like a hero. You feel like I don't know. For me, that was like a Stanley Cup, winning a Stanley Cup, because the emotions go through you. And the celebration. I did everything through emotions. I didn't plan the celebration. It was just basically like a little kid. Getting something and being so excited. That's why I flopped on my belly, started kicking my feet because I was so happy. Something naturally needed,
Right.
Yeah, I mean that's the best way to describe it. Is like it looks like you're just like a little kid that just won a game.
Yeah, it's so funny that the stick and the puck I had from that game, I saved it for a long time, and I didn't know what to do with it. And actually, a couple of days ago, Alex Ovechkin, which is probably hated in Pittsburgh like Eric Lindros, he took the stick to his collection, and he was so happy that I gave him that stick. And, he said, listen, he gave me his stick and sign and everything. I think his stick probably worth more money than my stick. But he actually was because he told me, first thing he told me, I won this stick because I remember watching the game, as a kid. And seeing you score a goal, I was like, he was so happy because, it was from Soviet Russia or whatever, and he told me that you remember everything about the game.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, you bring up Ovechkin, like, how did you guys form a relationship the way that you guys have? I mean, how much do you guys communicate with each other?
Not really. Just happened this coronavirus time. I knew Alex from a long time ago because we played together at the 2006 Olympics. But then my career was finished. His career just started. But we got to know, each other much more closely this past 3 months. He's a great kid. He's a he kind of reminds me of me. He's very happy-go-lucky. He's not shy. He has a good sense of humor. He's not kind of, being a superstar like him. He has no, he's very humbled. He doesn't drive Ferrari or Lamborghini. He drives, very cheap Mercedes. Maybe he's a cheap guy. No, but he's a very great, very, very, very good kid. He met a lot of my friends here, people who never played the game, and they say, listen, this guy is unbelievable. It's simple.
Yeah, we among a lot of Pittsburgh fans, I think a lot of them respect him more than they hate him. That it goes to show, and I know that Smitty and we're one of the ones that we want him to catch Gretzky's record and break it.
Oh yeah, it'd be awesome. Remember how much the steak would cost if he?
Yeah. Was that specific stick used? Like, do you know when it was used or anything like that, or is just the right?
No, but it was this game used stick. It doesn't matter. You probably at least sell them for a couple hundred.
Yeah, for sure. So what was your favorite memory of your Penguins career?
I think we just talked about it.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
I
but,
assume it would be the goal, but I just figured I'd ask if it might be something different.
I think that being a part of the Penguins organization, because the moment I stepped in the locker room in Pittsburgh, I remember being in New York, which Islanders is an unbelievable organization, but we were going through such a tough times there. You know, we're losing and teams were not playing good. But coming there, I remember guys were skating without helmets, no shoulder pads. You know, everybody's playing poker on the plane. You know, just a relaxed atmosphere. Even right now, I went back to Pittsburgh. You know, that's how it feels. You know, people come there, they're having a lot of fun. They love playing for the Penguins because it's such a high class, but nobody's uptight there. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like being in Pittsburgh, you know, going Pittsburgh changed a lot since I was there. But you know, going to like Shady Side, Squirrel Hill, Strip District, you know, things like that. It was just a cool place to live and play. You know, it gets a little old at the end, you know, because you couldn't find a bagel with a white fish salad. But that's a New York thing, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that answered my question. I was going to ask what was the differences between Pittsburgh to the other teams that you played with.
Oh, you know, when I got traded from New York, I was so shocked that you couldn't go to a deli and buy an egg sandwich, you know, in the morning. I don't know, maybe they do it now, but in Pittsburgh, you couldn't find that. Like in New York, you go anywhere, they make, you know, bagels, they make egg sandwich with like, you know, eggs and bacon. But I remember being in Pittsburgh, it was nothing like that there. And that was like, it was kind of culture shock for me because I never played anywhere else besides New York.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple places like that now. I feel like they've kind of become more cultured, but yeah, back in that day, probably not. So
yeah, but in New York was everywhere, you know.
Yeah,
you just
right.
go in and you get it, you know.
Right. So you mentioned the Olympics. What was it like to play in the Olympics? And because you played in multiple and you won multiple medals, right?
Yeah, you know, the playing Olympics, you know, right now, like I wish I won, you know, all gold medals, you know, and have 4 gold medals. But playing in 4 Olympics, you know, it's a cool experience, you know. I don't remember much about Olympics, but you know, I have a memory of having 3 medals, you know, gold, silver, bronze, and winning the gold medal in France in '92 Olympics. It was just unexpected, you know, because first of all, I never expected to make the Olympic team, you know, because I was a 19-year-old kid just coming off the World Junior Championship. Then making a team, I was like, wow, you know, I'm going to Olympics. It's like that was even crazier, you know. And then I remember sleeping night before the Olympic, the final game. I knew a medal because you know when you play in the finals, you're gonna win a silver no matter what. And I knew that. Oh my God, already gonna bring the medal from the Olympics, and then winning the gold. You can't express that. You know, my career was just starting. You know, it was 1992. It was unbelievable. You know, and I thought I'm gonna be winning every year, something.
Right. So, all right. Gold medal in the Olympics or Stanley Cup? Which one would you rather win?
I'd rather have both, but
Yeah.
I think, like, you know, if you live in North America, Stanley Cup is huge, and people who follow the game here, they understand, you know, the Stanley Cup is #1 trophy in professional sports in hockey in this country. But if you tell people, like today, I had my kids came to my house. They had a nanny from Peru, and I told her that I play hockey, and she had no idea, you know, hockey. Like, but I told her I went to Olympics and I have a gold medal. She's like, wow, you know. So I think it's easy for people to explain that, you know, you're a gold medalist in Olympic Games. Then they get like
Right.
kind of amazed. But if you tell them, you know, I won a Stanley Cup, it's like basically you go to Australia and somebody tells you, you know, they won this Australian, you know, rugby cup. You know, it'd be like, what's that? You know. So I feel like the Olympic gold medal is huge.
Yeah. Somebody put in our comments here. Have you ever had a sandwich from Katz Deli in New York?
What?
Katz, K-A-T-Z Deli in New
Oh
York.
yeah, of course.
Is
Katz
that so?
Deli, yeah.
What is that like? Is that like the big thing there?
Yeah, it's like, you know, they make all the sandwiches and all, you know, bagels. It's like lunch, breakfast, dinner, basically. They always make, you know, prepare the food and make it for you. But listen, guys, I changed my diet a long time ago, so I don't eat any more bagels. I'm vegan, you know. I've been vegan for 3 years,
wow.
so I only eat plant-based diet. So it's actually changed my life and changed, you know, how I feel, and that's why I'm so active at age I'm almost 50, you know.
Yeah, I was about to say, is that why you're still out on the ice all the time?
Yeah, I love it. Listen, for example, this morning I ran 7 miles. I went to the gym. Now I'm gonna go play hockey for a couple hours. It's amazing how much energy it gave me. Changing my eating habits. I wish I find out about this when I was playing, because I feel like I would probably had a longer career. Because playing in the league, I remember you always was issue with the weight. And keeping the weight down and things like that, because we ate everything. You eat room service, then you have dessert, all the shit. He eats so much, so then you kind of, I think that's why a lot of guys retire, because they gain too much weight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just touching back on the Olympics for another second,
Yeah.
what's the difference between for a player playing in an Olympic game versus playing in an NHL game? Is there any?
Oh, NHL game. First of all, Olympic ice was much bigger than NHL ice. It's a bigger ice surface, and also Olympics is such a short tournament. You play 8, 7, 8, 9 games and you're done. NHL is a long season. So it's not much error when you play in Olympics. You have a one chance, one shot. If when you play NHL games, you always can come out, have a bad game, have a good game, and just move on. So it's a two different events.
Right.
Okay. And along the same lines, you played in the KHL as well, right?
Yeah, I played in KHL for 2 years since when I left New York in 2007. And that was a unbelievable experience too. At the end of my career, I played on a good team, Scott St. Petersburg, which is one of the top teams in the KHL, and I had a blast there. Living in St. Petersburg, which was, I didn't realize how beautiful and historic the town was. Because I grew up in Moscow basically, and I never been there. So I was very impressed, and it felt very special too. It was, I got lucky. I played for very good teams a lot in my career.
Yeah. So what were some of the differences between the NHL and the KHL?
Well, probably first of all, NHL is a much more talented league. You have world class players playing in the NHL, but KHL was a good competition. It was good players, and a lot of things are the same. The new buildings. They have new buildings that travel. With the private jets. They have a nice, beautiful hotel. So it's not much difference besides salary, maybe, and the level of play. Because I feel like in KHL it's not as much as even as NHL. KHL has like 4 to 5 teams who are dominating. And nobody has a chance. But in the NHL, anybody can beat anybody.
So you're from Lithuania, correct?
Yeah,
So is the hockey game growing in Lithuania?
it is. It's getting better. We in Lithuania we have more and more ice rinks open up. Kids are enjoying the game because Lithuania is more basketball. They're religious about basketball there, but hockey is growing popularity, and it's up to us guys who retire. Me and Danius Zubrus, who play in NHL for a long time, to bring the game and get the kids going, because it's kind of sad that me and him we left such a long time ago in the 80s basically, and no one came out from Lithuania and succeeded had success like we did. Only 2 guys over 100 years. And it's sad. Everybody has opportunity. And I just feel like maybe they don't have enough good quality trainers or coaches. Coaching the kids the game.
And you moved to Russia when you were 14 to play hockey, right?
Yeah. That's I get discovered at 14. And I was invited to go to Dynamo Moscow, which is a very super big club in Russia. And, I played there for 5 years before I came to NHL. So, I got lucky also, being discovered in Lithuania and then having opportunity to play for such a great club as Dynamo Moscow.
Was there any transition from moving over there, if any at all?
Oh, of course. I was a 14-year-old kid. I miss my parents. I remember I cry a lot. I want to go home and be with my mommy and daddy. I was still a kid. Come on, 14-year-old. It's
Yeah,
insane.
that's true.
But then I think around 15, 16, I realized the freedom is good. nobody tells you what to do.
Yeah.
So then I became more grown up. But in the beginning, it was hard, man. It was hard.
So now after hockey, what have you been up to since your NHL career?
Oh, I work in a construction real estate development business company. I do that, and also, I'm raising 6 kids, so they keep me busy.
Yeah.
I'm father of 6 kids. I still get involved in hockey. I still want to go back and be part of the hockey community. But it's very hard to get in because coaching. I would love to do something like that, but it's still, it needs time and dedication, which I have, but I don't have time because I have little kids. So I
Right.
can imagine myself, sometimes in life you have to make a decision who you want to be, and I realized that, making all the money, it doesn't make you happy. It makes me happy where I'm at in life right now, being a dad, being available to my kids on a daily basis, and just seeing them grow. I feel like it's so easy to just escape this and do my own thing and then, be a stranger with my kids. But I feel like, I had an opportunity to play, and now I have opportunity to be a dad.
Do your kids want to play hockey?
My kids want to do everything for like 2 days, and then, I don't know. I want my kids to do whatever they want, but I want my kids to be athletes, because my wife is an athlete and I'm an athlete. We're both kind of world-class athletes, but our kids are kind of so far been disappointment when it comes to sport. I think this iPad generation or iPhone generation is not really active as much as we when I was a kid. But I try to get my kids involved in basketball, soccer. Sometimes I'm taking skating. I want them to want it. Nobody took me to hockey. I actually saw this guy in my neighborhood wearing a hockey equipment. I was so amazed. So the first thing I remember, coach came to my school and said, "Who wants to play hockey?" I was the first boy. Like, I want to do this because I was so amazed about hockey equipment. And, my dad never took me there. I did it myself because I loved it. So I feel like, every kid, needs to push, but they have to want it,
Right.
Right.
Well, Tyler, do you have anything else?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Last question. It actually got asked here by one of our viewers. Who is your personal favorite hockey player of all time?
All time. I grew up watching guys like Slava Fetisov. I was idolizing them because they were so good. Red Russian Red Machine. They are actually really good. So I feel like Slava Fetisov was my. It was like I look up to him. But I feel like the most important person in my hockey career is my kids coach. But besides the famous guy, I don't think you guys know, but that was a guy named Valery Vasilyev. He played for 70s, Russian team. He played in the 72, Super Series, and that's the guy who discovered me. Who saw me because he played exactly same style as I do. He was hip checking people. He was a top defenseman, and he saw me playing in Lithuania, and he chose me right away. He told me, you know how he did. I actually tell you a quick story. I was playing against the team Dynamo Moscow. I was playing for Lithuanian team. And I remember this guy comes up on the bench during the game, he had little vodka or something. I can smell the alcohol. And he goes, "Well, who are you?" I'm like, "I'm Darius." He goes, "Do you want to play in Moscow, Dynamo Moscow?" I was like, "Yes, I do." He goes, "You will, because I love how you play." Because I was hitting these big guys there. I was the smallest guy on the team. And he actually, he told me, "You're going to play for that team." And he took me next year and brought me to Russia.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you.
Darius. Hey, thank
now
you so much
for play
for
hockey and get my frustrations out.
Yeah, best of luck to you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, take care, man.
Bye.
Have a good one.
Bye.
All right.
All right. That was Darius Kasparaitis.
What a nutcase, man.
Yeah, driving while he's talking to us.
Hey, we don't.
We
didn't know that. He was just in a car. For all we know.
That's true. We don't know.
We don't know what was going on there.
Yeah.
Okay. We do have some more stuff to talk about. As we mentioned during our interview on Monday with Derwin Gray, we're gonna do the rest of our show tonight. So might as well just stick in the NHL, seeing as we just had a former NHL player on here. So sticking with the NHL, we know that Pittsburgh will not be a hub city. They've been rolled out this past week. I don't know what the what the reasoning is. Once again, we talked about it before. Like, what exactly are they looking for in terms of picking these hub cities? I don't know. I mean, to me, my guess now would be Toronto as the other one.
Yeah, I think that makes sense, especially if Toronto is willing to like open up. I think they would be better fit to run it than Columbus would, just because Toronto's a much bigger city.
Well, Columbus got rolled out.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Oh, then to me it has to be Toronto.
Yeah.
It has to be Toronto because of TV constraints. That's.
Yeah, I saw that all the possible cities left, like in Canada, were putting together these ridiculous plans. And when I say ridiculous, I just mean like elaborate, like they seem good.
Yeah.
But I was reading through some of them, and it's literally like the guys are going to be in like a bubble. So
is Toronto the only like Eastern Canadian city left?
I think so. Yeah.
Because they didn't say Montreal or anything like that.
No, I saw Toronto's plan. I saw Edmonton's plan.
All right. Well, to me, it has to be Toronto just because of the time, and that's legitimately the only reason. Because if you want to televise these games, you're gonna have to separate them, and having them both be in the Pacific time zone is not gonna be good.
Yeah. So, Sarge said, "What about the rink in Beaver County?" Are you talking about Brady's
run? Hey, I mean, there's no fans, so it's just another hockey rink.
Yeah. Okay, and then the only other thing is two former Penguins, Marian Hossa, Jerome McGinley, going into the Hall of Fame. They spent combined less than a season here.
You're right. And we all thought that they were going to spend more than a season here, both of them.
Yeah, I mean, definitely more so with Hossa, because it was like, I mean, most of Sid's career has been about finding him a winger, but it was like when we got Hossa, that was it. Like that was
his winger. Yeah. And really since then, so unless you want to count like Kunitz and Dupuis, which they were good with Sid, they were very good as a line, but I wouldn't say they were like a premier winger for Sid.
Okay, so do you remember just on Monday when we did the interview with Derwin Gray? This is going to sound like a weird comparison. When we did that interview with Derwin Gray, he mentioned about Ramon Foster always saying like, you know, they like me, but they're always bringing in guys to replace me. I feel like that's how it was with Kunitz and Dupuis. Like they still somehow always ended up there, even though they tried bringing guys in to replace them.
I mean, if you want my honest opinion, I think it's just because Sid liked them. He liked
definitely Kunitz, and yeah, Dupuis mixed in well, but yeah, Kunitz was Sid's guy.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, that was a great line in hockey when it was together. But when it comes to having a single winger for Sid since Hossa, I mean, there hasn't been a really one since, or except for Gensel, that has been that skill level for Sid. I mean, you could say Zucker now too, because we made a trade for him, and kind of excited to see what that line could look like. But
I'm excited to see what they do with the lines. Like, do both those guys stay with Sid? I mean,
Steve Mears said that, I think, when we asked him.
Steve Mears said Gensel's definitely gonna be back with Sid, but I don't remember what he said about Zucker.
Well, I would just assume
he said Sullivan likes his duos. He doesn't focus so much on the trio, the forward group, but he likes his duos. So,
well, if it was me,
R.I.P. Kunitz's ego.
Oh yeah. Now Kunitz's ego only retweets around the 412. But if I was the coach, I would probably just put Zucker on the other side, just because that's pretty much all he's played with since he came to the Penguins with Sid. So that's what he's used to.
Do you feel like Gensel might actually be more equipped to do that, seeing as how Gensel has played the other like two forward positions because he came in as a center?
Well, yeah, I don't care which side they play. I just want one on either side. I don't care who plays left wing, who plays right wing. But whoever's more comfortable at either can play whatever. But I would keep that line together and just see if it works.
And Sorge kind of mentioned what I have mentioned in the past. As far as Connor Sherry's role, because if you're taking him off Sid's line, how productive is he going to be? We've seen him, lead the league in points per 60 with Sid, and then look like, should this guy be in the lineup without Sid? So if you're dropping him off Sid's line, I start to worry about how he'll play with other guys. So that's why for me, I said originally, because I like the way that Gensel looked with Malkin and Russ when Sid was out. So I would put Zucker with Sid and Sherry and have Gensel on line too, but it doesn't sound like that's going to be a thing, at least with, take it for what it's worth. Steve Mears is saying he thinks when they come back, they'll at least start out with Sid and Gensel.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, if I had my choice, I would keep Sherry and Zucker with Sid, put Gensel with Malkin. But I was just going based off what he told us, whatever insight he has, which he probably has more than us. I would guess Gensel would be back with Sid, but who knows?
Stubbs just mentioning Sarge's favorite teams being like the most popular ones in here.
Oh,
I mean, minus the Pirates.
nice. Well,
But yeah, like,
but the
but
Yankees are his
Steelers and-
first one.
Steelers and
so-
Cowboys, Yankees, Penguins, and the Pirates, obviously. Is the
Imagine
second.
if he was like if he had two NHL teams, it'd be like Penguins and like Toronto, or Penguins and Blackhawks.
the Blackhawks,
Yeah.
for sure.
But yeah, back to like Hossa and Iginla.
Yeah.
I think they're both deserving. Especially Iginla. I saw some people on Twitter just when I was searching Marian Hossa's name saying that he shouldn't have been first ballot. But I mean, the dude scored over 500 goals, over 1,100 points. The only thing that is a knock against him is that he doesn't really have any individual awards. But everything else, he's on par.
Yeah, I mean, do you feel like it's? I don't want to say people have a bad perception of him, but like the fact that it was pretty well, like he was literally chasing a cup year by year for a while there.
Yeah.
Until he finally got with Chicago. So I feel like people are just kind of sour about that part of him, and that's why they'll try to like knock him. But yeah, I mean, fantastic player. We got to see it for a period of time here. I wish it was longer, but
Yeah, I remember when he was scoring his 500th goal. The quote was, "As long as it wasn't an empty net, he didn't care." That's what he said after the
he
game.
wouldn't
He
have
scored
taken
it. I mean, I'm sure he would have taken it, but I don't think he would have enjoyed it as much as it would have been an actual goal.
Interesting. Anyways, yeah, congratulations to those guys. Would have liked to have seen both of them play a little longer. I actually bought a Ginla jersey, so definitely wish he would have stayed here longer.
Yeah, and it looked like he might, but then he ended up in Boston.
The team that he was originally like traded to, and then it was like 4 a.m. or something like that when we found out he was actually traded to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I remember on my Instagram I posted a picture, and it was just like a meme, and it says, "Hey Boston, we got Iggy." like that was it. It was such a stupid picture.
Okay, so moving on, I actually want to tell you guys about a local business first. Speaking of delis, this is kind of with what Darius was talking about. This kind of plays right into it. This is a deli that specializes in breakfast sandwiches, and it's in Pittsburgh. So Kevin's Deli is on 5th Avenue. It's 4415 5th Avenue, Suite 120. They're open Monday through Friday, 8 to 4. Their phone number, pull out your phones, write this down, or pull your phones, write this down. Get a pen and paper, write down, or pull out your phone and put it in your notes. 412-621-6368. Specialize in breakfast sandwiches. They also do have burgers, Pittsburgh-style salads, of course. You got to put the fries in the salad. Reubens, cheesesteaks, wings. They have a huge menu. I looked at it before we jumped on here. Looks pretty good. So, once again, Kevin's Deli on 5th Avenue.
Yeah, I looked at the Instagram when I saw that was going to be the one, and the food looks good. It's not like a place that looks like it tries to be like overly fancy or stylish with their food. It's just like, here's good food. Here you go. Like,
yeah, Stubbs just mentioned your necklace. I didn't even see. I just happened to glance up and I think he said he called it bling. Because now I want to wait because Sarge said something and only post the most recent comment.
Fun fact about this necklace: I haven't taken it off since January of 2013.
Do you take it off when you sleep?
No.
I can't sleep with mine. I woke up the one night and felt like I was choking.
Yeah, I haven't taken this necklace off in over 7 years.
My God. All right, well.
I don't know. Is that gross? I have no idea.
I don't think so. I mean, if you're also
I shower with it.
Showering with it on. I mean, as long as it turns a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look dirty or anything like that. It looks fine.
I don't know. We might need to have somebody that specializes in jewelry come on the show next.
No.
That would be so boring.
I don't even know what I would ask.
Question, and then that's
is this dirty? All right, cool. Then kick them.
Okay, so moving along, baseball's back.
Finally.
We've kind of been getting at it. It's felt like I feel like for a month there's been negotiations like this going on, and every week we came on here saying a proposal was sent back forth to each other. But they're going to play 60 games in 66 days. Opening day will be either July 23rd or 24th. They're adopting the universal DH August 31st trade deadline. All games will take place in your division and against your geographic counterparts, which means in the Pirates' case, they will be playing just the NL Central and the AL Central, which you look at the AL Central, that division stinks. So I know the Pirates are going to stink, but hey,
1% chance.
I'm thinking they could win, 25 games here this season.
Yeah, and I'm really happy that it's a 60-game season because it goes along the lines of whenever there was a proposal for 48 games, where it's just going to be a sprint, which will make baseball more exciting because not that – so you and I and a lot of baseball fans, we're okay with baseball being 162 games. We like playing baseball or like watching baseball. But I feel like if you want to get more casual fans to watch baseball this season, a shorter season is the way to go because it makes the standings – like every game counts way more now. Not that it counts way more. It just matters more because you don't have as much time to make up for it.
Yeah, like they said, who was it? I can't remember what team it was. Their manager said, the Rangers. Their manager said that he's going to manage it as if the trade deadline just passed.
Which the trade deadline is August 31st?
August 31st.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's going to be a sprint, and you might see some team that would not regularly be there or should be there in a regular season get into the playoffs. So,
well, I mean, as little of a chance as it has, I can't talk. As little of a chance as they have, the Pirates have more chance to make the playoffs now than they would have if the baseball had been normal season.
They had a 60-game stretch last year where they were like 35-25 or something like that.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, if you get a few series wins here and there, I mean,
I mentioned the teams that they're going to be playing. They're only going to play their division, the Indians and Twins, the Royals, the White Sox, and who's the other team in that division?
Who did you say? Indians, Royals,
Tigers.
White Sox, Tigers. Yeah. I mean,
it's
not good. Not good.
Two of those teams are going to be worse than the Pirates, like they would have been in an 162-game season.
Which ones?
The Tigers and Royals.
Okay.
I mean, the White Sox I kind of liked. I don't know that they're necessarily there yet.
The Indians, do they even have to try to win? They're not good, but do they have to try to win that division?
I think it'll be between them and the Twins. Like I said, I don't think the White Sox are there yet.
I forgot about the Twins. I forgot they were kind of good.
The Twins brought in Donaldson. I think that's a nice addition, especially, now in a short season like this.
They still have Trevor May.
True.
So who's going to win the NL Central? What?
Stubb said, because Sarge said if they go 60-0, referring to the Yankees, because Sarge said that earlier. If they go 60-0, I'll give you every dollar I collect for the rest of my life. So
could you imagine?
Stubb will never see another dollar. I would love to see that contract written up. Would that hold up?
I don't know. I have no idea. You should do that before July 23rd or 24th.
Yeah.
But
write it up. Write up the contract.
But yeah, no, I don't know who's going to win the NL Central because of this short season. At first,
do you see the projections for it?
No.
It's so close.
Like between
all the teams
the top four?
All the teams are separated by, I think, 7 games, something like that.
Except for the Pirates?
It's they're in.
Oh, really?
Games. It's like 1 game apiece at the top 3.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say.
Projected to win.
Okay. I would probably pick. I don't know. I probably would have said the Cardinals, but now I don't know.
I like the Cardinals, to be honest. I think Jack Flaherty's going to take another step this year. I picked him to win the Cy Young last year, but I think he's a top 3 pitcher in the NL.
I mean, I think I picked the Cardinals to win it last year. Did they win it? Honestly, I don't remember baseball last year.
Yeah.
I have no clue.
I think they got eliminated by the Nationals in the first round.
Okay. So that's another thing with this short season. There had been a certain point
baseball last year.
Honestly,
I was sitting here thinking about it,
dude. So I think with the short season, it's going to be a lot better for fans of the Pirates and like specifically, because as much as I love the Pirates, there's a certain point over the past, like, I would say 3 seasons ish, where I just stopped caring. I don't watch the games. I don't follow them. But like, I'll look to see what, like, if they won or something. But like, what?
They played the Braves because I started to think, I was like, I knew the Nationals came back in that wild card game against the Brewers, so there's no way that they would have played each other in the first round. They played the Braves. The Cardinals did.
Gotcha. Did they lose?
Huh?
Did they lose?
I think that they won that series and then they lost.
Dude,
That's what happened.
I literally have no clue.
They won
All
that
I know
series. I don't know why we're breaking down the 2019 playoffs right now, but they won that series against the Braves, then lost to the Nationals in the second round.
Yeah, honestly, off the top of my head, all I could tell you is that the Nationals beat the Astros in the World Series. That's pretty much it. But I don't think I'm going to have that little slump where I'm going to get bored of baseball, because every year around August, like sometime in August, it's like, all right, we're out of it. I'm sick of it. I'm done watching. But I don't think I'm going to get that this year.
Even like 2018, where the Pirates weren't on, they won 82 games.
Yeah, they had a winning season, but I still stopped watching towards the end because it's just not as interesting. It wasn't as interesting to me. But this one, even if they're out of it, I still think I'll watch it, just because it's a short stint.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, anything left to say? Oh, well, how do you feel about I think we've talked about it on here, but it's going to be weird if they adopted the DH in the NL. So there's a universal DH for this season. What happens next season?
They should just keep it.
But I'm saying I don't think that's been talked about yet. So are they going to not have the DH next year, and then when the new CBA is agreed to, there's going to be it again? So we're just going to have one season in between without it?
I mean, this season isn't affecting next year, is it?
No.
At all? Okay, so, I mean, I guess they would go back to it if it's just written how it is now, but if I'm them, I just keep it because you're going to get it eventually. So why not just do it now? I mean, unless there's a specific reason why they can't for next year, I just see no reason not to.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that works, being that it's already part of the CBA. It's kind of like the thing where like baseball could impose whatever season they wanted because you can't strike in the middle of a CBA.
Yeah.
So
I have no idea how it
already
works.
Agreed upon that there's not going to be a DH unless something like this happens, where then they have to like negotiate to try to find a way to come back into play. I don't know how that works. It'd be interesting. I mean, somebody that's listening back to this can tweet us and let us know or something if there's no one in here that knows. But I have no idea what's going to happen next season with it.
Yeah, but I'm just of the opinion if you can play with it, you might as well, because the NL is going to get it sooner than later permanently.
Plus, like I'm saying, like what you're going to have pitchers that didn't hit this upcoming season all of a sudden have to hit for 1 year and then once again not.
Yeah, that would make no sense.
Fast track Jared Jones for the Pirates. What are we doing here?
I want to see a bad flip again.
Okay, so last thing to talk about in the NFL. Actually, a decent bit of news here. Dak signed his franchise tag, going to make $31.5 million. I think that he probably played this the right way, taking it down to where he did. And they can still negotiate for a little bit longer on a long-term deal. But, there's a lot of rumors about the cap going down, which that could be affected by another piece of news that we have to talk about. But, he's not sure, what that number is going to look like. It looks a lot different now than what he thought, a long-term deal could potentially look like coming into the offseason, I'm sure, when this virus thing wasn't going on and there's really no concern about this.
And he was looking for $40 million.
I think let's make $31.5 million this season, and we'll see what's up next year. So I think it makes sense to sign it now with the uncertainty of what that number could look like in the future. Heck, he's probably wishing with the uncertainty, if it does go down, hey, tag me again.
So say something happens and the season does not happen. Does he get paid? No.
I can't answer that. I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like he's holding out, but at the same time, he's not playing games. So I have no idea if he would get paid. Not that I want something to happen. Obviously, I don't, but it's just popped in my head thinking about that because this season is just a big question mark.
Yeah, everything's a question mark right now.
But I mean, I think you're right. It is smart of him, especially because you're not.
But
Gonna
I
get
also
40
think
right
it
now.
was smart for him to not sign it right away. Like I think he did the right thing by waiting until now to do it.
Yeah, I agree.
Getting a little bit more information on what's going on. But also, so this Jamal Adams thing. So he wants a trade, and it came out that originally people were like he just wants to be paid, so the Jets aren't going to pay him. That's why he's looking for a trade. But then there was like he wouldn't necessarily demand a contract extension depending on what team he went to, so that rubs people the wrong way. And then it was reported yesterday by a couple guys that cover the Jets that him and Adam Gase, go figure, have beef. So and there's a lot of guys apparently that are in that locker room that don't respect Adam Gase. I think it was just last week we talked about it. Like, what a terrible hire. I mean, we didn't understand it when it happened. He was given way too much power. I don't even think he should have been a head coach. This guy's still riding the coattails of a season that he had as an offensive coordinator with the Denver Broncos when they had Peyton Manning. I mean, I could have been their offensive coordinator, and he's continued to get jobs because of it. And I don't get it. I think he's not a good head coach for sure, and I think he's terrible as far as roster construction. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're not going to get rid of the head coach, but if you're the Jets, do you at least think about trading Jamal Adams now? Because I said before, no matter what, even if he wants traded, you don't have to trade him. But now, if he's conflicting with your head coach, you might at least think about it just because you don't want that in the locker room.
Yeah, I mean, you're never going to pick a player over the coach, especially when they're a safety. Like maybe if it was the quarterback and Adam Gase, then there'd be some type of decision, kind of like the rift that we thought there was with Tom Brady and Belichick. Like, was that a decision? But Jamal Adams and Adam Gase as your head coach, that's not really a decision. I would get rid of Adam Gase yesterday, but as good as Jamal Adams is at his position, he's a safety who's apparently looking for like $20 million when that would be like $6 million more than the highest paid safety right now. So it's not really a decision. I would already be listening to offers on him anyway, because when are the Jets going to compete? Like, if a team's going to give you 2 first-round picks for him, yeah, that's a no-brainer to me.
Yeah, you're right. They're not going to compete. Look at the Bills. That's their division for the next couple of years, probably, unless the Patriots somehow just pull
I think
it out
the
of their ass
Dolphins are
again.
closer than the Jets. And, the Patriots, for as poor as their roster looks right now, they got the best head coach of all time running it. So it will still be interesting to see where they fall in line there.
I mean, the year that Tom Brady went out with a torn ACL, what was their record?
11-5.
So, I mean, I know they're missing different pieces, but they still have a lot from that defense. They still have some of their pieces on offense, but I mean, their offense is kind of lackluster. But still, if they can just figure it out together, they might still be fine. But I agree.
That's the thing. I mean, it's a question mark. We know Jarrett Stidham might actually be good. Who knows? So,
yeah. And I think you're right. The
Harry.
Dolphins are closer than the Jets too. We said last year that we like the Dolphins. It's just they're sucking on purpose, basically. And they're not going to fire their coach for it. I think they got the right guy for the job too.
Yeah, they won 5 games last year with a roster that shouldn't have won 5 games.
That's
now
because freaking Fitzpatrick was too good.
Yeah. So they still have Fitzpatrick there to kind of mentor Tua and hopefully have Tua be able to sit for, we'll see. It might be the entire season, depending on how Fitzpatrick plays. But really what they did was with their defense. I mean, the offensive line is a little better. They also address that. But the defense, they go and get Byron Jones to pair with Xavier Howard. That's one of the better corner duos in the league right now. They go and get Kyle Van Noy from the Patriots. That was a good get.
BYU, by the way.
Yeah, I knew it was coming.
Just saying.
They added some pass rushers as well. I mean, I think that they're a decent team. I mean, I think, like you said, it's the Bills division. Beyond that, I couldn't tell you how 2, 3, and 4 are going to fall in line. My hot take was that it's the Patriots at 3, but
yeah, I mean, if I had to take a stab at it, I would still say the Patriots at 2, and then the Dolphins at 3. But honestly, we have no idea what the Patriots are going to look like because we have not seen a Tom Brady-less Patriots team in 2 decades. So,
well, the year you just mentioned, and they still won games.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, just
not even on the roster.
He's not even on the roster. Yeah, so we haven't seen that in like 2 decades. So we have no idea what the team is going to be. Imagine being Edelman and your two best friends go to Tampa Bay, and you're just chilling up in New England.
I'm just looking at the Patriots coming into 2020. Like, their defense is pretty good, but the offense is a huge question mark, and I think that's why you can kind of look at them like the 2019 Steelers. And is their defense as good as ours was last year? I don't think so, at least not on paper. So that's why I'm thinking how many games, but they also have the best coach of all time, which plays a huge factor. So
also last year they shouldn't have had the defensive player of the year. Just saying, should have been TJ Watt.
Wasn't even the best corner.
No, Steven Nelson was better.
Well, I was just saying Tre'Davious White, but
well, I said Steven Nelson.
So I mentioned about the salary cap and stuff. The NFL has an interesting idea, which to continue to bring in revenue. They're making it seem like it's just for tarping off fans to not be as close to the players and coaches and stuff like that. But they're going to block off this first 6 to 8 rows right along the sidelines and around the entire stadium for 6 to 8 rows, and let the teams do advertising on that tarp off area. So I think that the idea, and I was like skeptical about it first, but I saw somebody put out an article. It was like, why fans long term should be okay with this. And I was reading it, and it was like, well, if they are able to continue to bring in revenue, that will hopefully make up for the losses. And they might make more money doing the revenue than selling seats right there. Who knows? But it might allow the salary cap to not decrease at least as much as we might see, and also ticket prices for teams might not go up.
All right. So my first question is: the people who own those seats, what happens to their ticket?
Yeah, I mean, it said pretty much be prepared to not sit where you usually do, even if fans are allowed there.
So they'll just switch their seat,
I guess. But does that mean that everybody's affected, or just the people that would be in those first 6 to 8? They're gonna go elsewhere, because if you're pushing them back, you're pushing everybody back. We're up.
Yeah, and
for me personally, if I'm in the stadium, that's good enough for me. I don't care where I'm at as long as I'm in the stadium. But I also don't think that I should be paying the price that I would be to sit down there if I'm sitting somewhere else.
Well, that was my next question: is if they do move back, are their season tickets going to be cheaper? Because I feel like they should be.
Hey, yeah, it's interesting, but they could also, say it's like a premium to even be there. I
tell them to shut up. You're
part of
giving me a worse seat.
To be here. Yeah. I don't know. Is it more about the seat where you're at though, or being part of a limited capacity? What plays into that price more?
I mean, what's the limited capacity?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Say it's half the stadium's allowed there, and you're
is it left up to the teams?
Huh?
Is it left up to the team? So is it a team? So it's a team-to-team basis. It's not league-wide. You're allowed this much.
It's team-to-team, but really that would mean it's state-to-state, right? Because if Pennsylvania says that can't happen, the Steelers can't just say, yeah, it is.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
So the NFL is saying it's team-to-team, but it's really the team following state guidelines.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully
Tom Wolfe is chillaxed.
I mean, we might see a little bit easier. What's the word I'm looking for? Restrictions on this side of PA as opposed to the other side, because the cases over there.
That's because Philadelphia is just a trash city, and that just proves it. It's just a trash city with trash people in it. They're all a bunch of human garbage. They're all worthless.
Wow. As you can see, this isn't around the 215 or whatever some of the area codes are out there.
Yeah, we're also not politically correct. We don't like you, Philadelphia.
We're Cleveland.
Or Cleveland. Yeah, Cleveland sucks. I the longer so the longer I thought about it, whenever the Cubs won the World Series against the Indians, at first I was really pissed that the Cubs won, and then I thought about it even more, and I'm like, you know what? I'm okay with the Cubs winning because screw Cleveland.
See, I don't mind the Indians.
I don't mind the Indians. No, I don't mind the Indians.
Yeah.
I don't want the city to be happy.
Yeah, that's true. But it was just tough for me.
Just like Cavs winning, I don't care. I don't care about the players. I'm happy for the players on the Cavs. I'm not happy for the city.
Yeah. Yeah, the only team in Cleveland that I dislike is the Browns, but yeah, I guess you make a good point because those people are also like the people that are Indians and Cavs fans are probably Browns fans as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they don't deserve to celebrate anything.
Yeah, and you even got some Browns fans in Pittsburgh.
True.
Annoying as hell.
True. Okay, so last few things all relate to the Steelers. The Hall of Fame game and its ceremony have both been postponed. They won't take place in 2020. We already know that they're going to be right back in there 2021 against Dallas. As far as the enshrinement goes, I am definitely a fan of them doing this next year, just putting it off because I feel like, Troy, Cower, Donnie Shell, those guys deserve to go in front of people, actually get like the ceremony that they deserve. So I am excited. Devin Stubbs said, I don't know why I said his full name. Devin Stubbs, I'm just reading it off there.
Devin
Stubbs said Philly didn't deserve that. Philly stinks. This is good conversation.
Philly didn't deserve what? What I said?
Yeah, I guess.
Shut up, Stubbs.
Stubbs must be team Philly.
Pro Philly?
He might like them more than Cleveland. That's what I'm getting from this.
Okay, well, how about they both suck?
True.
They're both trash.
But anyways, do you think that this is a precursor for other things getting postponed?
Like what? Like other just events or games?
I think we're going to see the preseason shortened regardless. So
yeah, which I mean.
But does this make you feel any worse about the season itself?
No, I don't, because when it comes to the Hall of Fame game, it's a worthless game. It means nothing. I mean, it's cool to play in it, I guess, but last time we played in it, Sean Sweezum tore his ACL or
hamstring. I think
or hamstring, not hamstring. Yeah, hamstring. Either way, he shouldn't have been defending a kickoff. But so I don't care. Like I was, if you listened to a few episodes ago, I'm for shortening the preseason anyway, so getting rid of this game doesn't matter. But I am happy that they postponed the enshrinement, and I think it might give them a chance to. I don't know if they would do like 2020 and 2021 just combined into one ceremony next year. Yes. But if they did, hopefully Alan Faneca would be in it too.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up. Is it would be really cool if they added even another member, and then all of a sudden we got 4 guys going to the Hall of Fame all in one weekend.
Should have happened this year. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I mean, if Cower or Donnie Shell, one of those guys weren't going in, I feel like Faneca would be. I just feel like
you cannot convince me that they just didn't want too many Steelers going into the Hall of Fame because there's already a ton in there. Pretty much, you look on the defensive side of the ball in the 1970s. Pretty much everybody that played defense is in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I have a problem with Hutchinson going in before Faneca, but it is not to say he's not deserving, but it's just before Faneca is what gets me.
Mm-hmm.
So the Steelers had 2 people test positive for the coronavirus, not necessarily just right now. They had it. They've fully recovered. They weren't around the team. I think that Tomlin even said they still aren't in Pittsburgh, so that's good. We don't know the names of them, obviously. That would go against HIPAA policy. Yeah. Even though we found out that Ezekiel Elliott had it, but it was a little bit different circumstances. So, just glad that those guys have recovered. You're going to see a lot more guys test positive. So I'm kind of sick, honestly, of seeing every single day news break of these athletes testing positive because it's going to happen. Like, I don't get why it's such a big deal, like why there's still like shock value there when a guy does test positive.
Yeah, it's like I mean, obviously they're not normal humans, but they're still humans. So they can get sick just like we can.
Mm-hmm.
They're just famous, so it's news. But I was watching Tim's stream, and he was playing with Devin Booker. And Devin Booker said that for the NBA, they get tested every 48 hours.
Right now?
So,
or is that the plan?
Right now. So I wonder what the NFL is doing, or any of the
NFL
other
is going to be ridiculous when they actually get to training camp and stuff.
Yeah, but like the NBA, they're not practicing right now either. So is the NFL?
Oh no, yeah, I'm sure the NFL is already doing stuff like that.
Yeah,
but I'm just saying, the way that they're making it seem like Ian Rappaport's tweet today about the protocols that they're going to have and stuff. to ensure that they do have a season. They might be testing guys every hour.
Yeah, because so on Tim's stream, the only reason that was brought up is because he had to go AFK to go take a test because someone came to his house, and so every 2 days they have to test him. So they put it up in his nose and in the back of his throat.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so I don't know if you saw it for college football. They're going to be having a 6-week training camp because they weren't able to have like spring ball and no summer practices really. And so I think they allowed training camp to start on July 20th. So camp's going to be like 6 weeks long. So they're going to really have to pace themselves because you can't push guys that hard for that long.
Interesting. Yeah, I saw there was somebody put out there about Clemson possibly like flirting with the idea of doing like herd immunity. You know what that is?
Mm-mm.
Like essentially letting the guys get it and then just get over it. Fully recover. Like have all the resources there to help these guys recover, but they pretty much want everybody to be exposed to it and then just get it out of their system.
I guess my question is like, how do you make someone get it? Are they just gonna? Oh, you have coronavirus. Let's all go in the same room as him.
I mean, yeah, you can't make somebody get it, but like the chance of them getting it with that many people all in one area is pretty high. Yeah. So nobody would take any like safety precautions to not get it. Everybody's going to get it, and then we'll treat them how we know how to treat them now.
Yeah, I mean, that's one way to look at it.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton.
See if it pays off for them.
Now, what if one of those kids actually gets really sick?
Then they messed up.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if that's what they're going to do, that's what they're going to do. I mean, I tweeted a couple days ago, please just let there be football on September 5th. Please.
What's September 5th? At BYU's opener or something?
BYU, Utah. I mean, college football in general, but they play on Thursday night again, I believe. So it would just be the opening for college football. Let there be football. That way I know football's back.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the last thing I really don't even want to necessarily talk about, and I'm not going to, but I just want to bring up that I really liked the way that Ryan Clark addressed this news of Big Ben's testimony getting out. Because he said, it's not for us to talk about. It was said in what he thought was a safe space in private. He opened up about his past, something, he made himself vulnerable to people that are probably dealing with the same thing or have dealt with the same thing. Maybe they haven't, but he was just saying, listen, I've dealt with these things and like, look at the platform I'm on. Like everybody goes through it. And that getting back to your point about like not being regular humans, like we look at them like superheroes, like these things happen to everybody. And as like when Bryant McFadden was on here and he mentioned, you win a Super Bowl for the Steelers at like that young of an age, you're going to be acting a certain type of way. And I'm not trying to excuse what he did, but I'm just saying like that's why he was the way that he was when he was younger, and he's grown from that. And I think that it shows.
And I'm kind of just sick of seeing people like bash him for it. Cause there's multiple people that are doing the same type of thing, but because he's Ben Roethlisberger, he's the one that's going to get called out for it.
Yeah.
Again,
that's like what Bryant said, he didn't have the best relationship with media members and stuff when he was coming in. And yeah, just the way that the public perception isn't good. So that guy really can do no right in most people's eyes, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not that good that it came out, but I think it's awesome to see him like talk to people about that kind of stuff and really like open up and show that he's human too.
Yeah, I think it depends on how you take. Like you said, I'm sure that he didn't want it to come out, and for people that already look at him a certain type of way, that's more ammo, even though it doesn't even relate to the other stuff people want to talk about. But for me, and I'm sure a lot of other people, it lets, it's just a reminder that he is a normal person that has grown from the past and he's willing to open up about it. And for me, that's why, not that I necessarily liked that this got out, but it's a way to relate to a guy like that even more.
Yep. I agree.
But other than that, I'm ready to roll behind 7 in 2020. Looks better than ever too. He does not look whatsoever
apparently,
overweight.
I forget who said it, but this year is like the first year that he worked out like every day in the off season, like in his entire career.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's pretty nuts.
I mean, whatever was working before was fine, but I'm very interested to see, after. It's unfortunate, obviously, that he missed last season, but you take the pros with the cons. I mean, as long as that elbow holds up, he got a year off taking hits. He got to re-find the passion that he has for football, which is having to watch it on the sidelines. I mean, learn how to become a better leader. There's
Even
just
though
so
he was
many
already a good one.
Yeah. I mean, you take the pros with the cons, like I said, and there were definitely positives to draw from 2019. As ugly as it looked for the offense on the field, I think that we're getting a very good version of Ben, if not better than we had before.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see him throw the ball. I'm really anticipating that because a lot of people said that after their elbow surgery, they threw better. And
I would
open
up against the Giants with a deep pass.
Just like on right on the 25, 1st and 10, you just chuck it downfield.
I'm running 4 verticals on the first play.
That would be so funny.
Randy Fichtner, so that's not happening.
No.
Although Ben doesn't listen to him. He can go up to the line of scrimmage and just audible out of it anyway.
So a little off topic. You mentioned Randy Fichtner. So when Ben retires, do you think Fichtner's not the offensive coordinator anymore?
I think I don't. Honestly, I think it depends on what the offense looks like when Ben goes out. If Ben goes out and the offense was still good, I think Fichtner might be given another season. But I've said on here, I feel like Matt Canada is kind of the guy in waiting.
Well, that's what I was pretty much getting to. Is like, yeah. Do you think he's pretty much the next man up for the job?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we know how the Steelers like to do things. It's pretty much they hire guys to lower positions and they let them work their way up the totem pole to these higher positions like coordinator position. So bringing Matt Canada as the quarterback's coach, the likely next step would be him to be the offensive coordinator. And then we would hire another quarterback's coach, maybe. Who knows? Matt Canada might be the dual guy when he gets here. So
I would not mind watching Matt Canada's offense in Pittsburgh again.
It'd be interesting to see who their quarterback was for that.
Trey Lance Jr.
Who?
Trey Lance Jr.
Oh, is Trey Lance a junior?
I thought so.
Oh, okay. He might be. I've just never heard anybody say Trey Lance Jr. That's why I was.
Maybe he's not. I in my head that sounded right.
I mean, it didn't sound necessarily wrong. I just had never heard anybody say it. So I was like, oh. I honestly think I would like the way that this, like a junior would look on the back of a jersey for him. We're already talking about it like he got drafted by the Steelers and we're looking for him to pick his number.
I mean, he's gonna be, so you might as well get it already.
All right. Well, that pretty much wraps things up. Once again, thanks to Darius Kasparaitis for joining us.
Bit of a wild interview because he was in the car.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Might have been a green screen.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Might have been a green screen of a car.
Also, but for those of you that don't know, he was going to a hockey game.
Yeah.
Which he got on.
Which we didn't know about.
We didn't know either. He's like, boys, I have a half hour. I got a hockey game at 6:45. We're like, okay, yeah. Let's get to it.
He didn't even have his picture on at the time. I was like, yeah. I'm glad that he turned his picture on. I mean, it would have been fine without it. We still could have done it, but anyways, thanks again to Darius Kasparaitis. Great interview. Be on the lookout for that. If you are watching this, make sure you're subscribed and you hit the notification bell. If you're listening back, head on over to the YouTube page, hit the subscribe and notification bell. Email us stuff, email us questions, email us topics you guys want to see on the show. I feel like we're kind of getting to a point where you might just be seeing the two of us at some point soon. We've had 8 straight shows with a guest on. I will say that we do have a couple other things in the works, but nothing set in stone lined up right now.
Yeah. 8 straight is not a norm for us.
No.
If you followed us beforehand, it's never been like that.
It's been every show since Herb took his hiatus. So
yeah, I mean, starting with Joey, it was just been a roll.
Yeah.
And we didn't anticipate this either. It's just kind of happened.
No, I mean, we've been able to line one up, and then like as soon as that person was coming on, another person was getting back to me. So yeah, it's just been really cool. We're taking it in stride and running with it. People that are listening to this, people that are tagging people, telling them you want them to come on to the show, you're part of that too. So thank you for helping us get these guys on. I will say too, Keats Barbershop, our sponsor, huge fan of Darius Kasparaitis. He absolutely loved that we were having him on. So Christian got to sponsor a show that was having one of his favorite players, if not favorite players, on, which is awesome. Keats Barbershop, 180 Brighton Avenue in Rochester, PA. Open 11 to 7 Tuesday through Friday and 9 to 4 on Saturday. Every Tuesday, he does $5 off for military personnel, first responders, and nurses. He is back open. It's been a couple weeks now since he's back open. The barbershop is back. Got my hair cut a couple weeks ago. Felt like things were back to normal while in there. So, it's a nice way to kind of forget about everything else. Go in there, get your hair cut, have a great conversation. The fridge is normally stocked. So Keats Barbershop, 180 Brighton Avenue, Rochester, PA. Other than that, once again, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell hit on our YouTube. And we will talk to you guys next week. Bye-bye.